Steve Smith, and I am the director of CampCando organisation, a voluntary organisation. And I have been involved in CampCando since the beginning, roughly 28 years or so now. Camp was actually started by a friend of mine, Steve Gardner, who had the idea after attending one of these sort of kids camps in America. Decided he'd like to start his own thing up in London. And I was a 16-year-old who wasn't doing anything during the summers, and he came knocking on my door and said, "You're coming to help me." And I was like, "I don't know anything about looking after special needs kids." And he went, "You're still coming," and absolutely fell in love with it.
I met Steve Smith at a party, and I just got chatting to him. I'd been involved with special needs kids through Scouts, but I hadn't been involved in Scouting for 5 or 6 years, and thought it'd be fun to get back involved with the kids in something outside of Scouting, so I did that.
I've been coming to camp since I was tiny, so
This big.
yeah. So I've been doing that. So from then on, I was helping out doing a day or so. I was just helping out with little things, and then wanted to do it fully.
Camp is split into sort of 4 different key areas. First is the fundraising events that we've taken part in have been Three Peaks Challenge, so Ben Nevis, Scarfell Pike and Snowdon. 6 of us walking that in 3 days. And then we also do sort of smaller events, so quiz nights at schools, we've done a pool night, casino night, and so lots of different varied types of fundraising events. The next area is the kids themselves that we take away. We spend a lot of time meeting the kids beforehand. We work mainly from the South London area, the sort of Lambeth, Wandsworth. We work with social workers from that area. We know them very well. They know us, so they know that we're a genuine charity and they support us. And we work with some of the special needs schools, such as Michael Tippett, Turney School. And that's where a lot of our kids come from. We go and meet them beforehand, we get to know them, we get to know their parents, and we spend a lot of time understanding their needs and ensuring the parents are happy as well, because camp isn't just about giving a holiday to the kids, it's also about giving some respite to the parents and caring. Third area is the volunteers. We like to have at least 1-to-1 when we go on camp, and so we need to find roughly about 18 volunteers, and that will include people like the cook and the drivers, so that there's always enough help that we can allow people to take a break. It is very tiring on camp, and if we have a really bad night, you could have 4 or 5 helpers up all night, and so they need a break during the day to go and get a couple of hours sleep and what have you. Ideally, if we've got 16 kids, ideally we'd want about 20 helpers. So finding the volunteers, making sure that they're security cleared, CRB checked and DBS checked. And then the 4th area is the camp itself, and that is a completely different challenge. So my role on that is to make sure everything runs smoothly, to make sure the kids are safe, make sure all the activities happen at the right time, make sure we've got enough helpers in the right areas, and to organise all the bits and pieces that go alongside it. I'd like to believe that the way in which we help the campers is by teaching them everyday little bits and pieces, getting them to help us clear up and what have you, but also by showing them new experiences. When you see a huge smile on somebody's face just because they've walked through a wood, which a lot of things like that we take for granted. So I think there's a lot of helping them sort of to grow in a little bit of confidence.
Well, obviously the campers, quite a lot of them come from quite, I won't say they're poorish, but
deprived inner city backgrounds.
Deprived inner city backgrounds, basically. So they won't be able to do some activities that they normally do in their life here. And also due to their needs, we often try and provide for them to do it anyway. So
Yeah, it offers respite care for parents and other siblings. That's, you know, if there are other children in the family, then they can go out and do like normal stuff, you know, without having to worry about their special needs brother or sister. So they can just be sort of normal family time with mum and dad, or if it's just mum and dad, then, you know, it's respite. All kids take a lot of looking after, but special needs kids, you know, it's 24/7.
What's your name?
Beautiful Flynn.
Yeah.
How long have you been camping?
Oh,
4 years. Yes.
So how has camp helped you and Donovan?
Oh, it's helped him a lot, like, because at home he's on his own, which he goes camping, there's a lot of children, do you know? His own friends. Yes, and activities where he does. You know, he does a lot of activities over there. And which that give me a break, and then what you like in camp?
Yeah, barbecue.
Barbecue on Thursday,
Yeah, disco.
A disco. Oh, he likes disco.
Yeah, disco. Yeah, the TV, clubby, more.
I think the volunteers, they all gain different things, but predominantly I think it's hopefully helping volunteers to grow in a bit of confidence, to stretch their comfort zones. Very few people when they first come to volunteer on camp have done anything like it. Seeing their faces when we pull up in those minibuses and these 16 special needs kids get off the bus, all they want is a cuddle. They don't mind who you are. Within minutes, you can just see the faces of the volunteers change as they realise that actually these are really lovely kids. Oh, that is a tough question. My best memory of camp, if I'm going to actually name one of the kids here, Nyarko he's an amazing kid. He has a lot of special needs. He has physical disabilities. He has almost no communication skills. He's quite odd looking. And the first year he came on camp, I could see a lot of the young volunteers and a lot of the helpers not avoiding Nyarko, but not sure how to deal with him. And what I worked out very, very quickly was Nyarko has got an amazing sense of humour. You were playing a game of catch with him, and he could catch the ball. He was quite good at that. He would have you running all over the field. And I worked this out quite quickly, but nobody else had. So I really enjoyed sitting there watching Nyarko play games with all these other helpers. And he had the biggest grin on his face you've ever seen in your life. And now Nyarko's been coming now for about 5 years, and everybody loves him.
there is a lot.
Yeah.
One of the volunteers we had a year, a guy called Zach. It wasn't his first time either, actually. That's what made it better. So we do a high ropes or low ropes activity, what involves a lot of mud and muddy water. He turned up in his brand new white trainers and white shorts and decided to go on the tyre swing over the muddy pond. And quickly everyone was on it to try and get him in the muddy water.
CampCando is very much about trying to engage with the kids, new experiences and fun.
This could be their only holiday of the year, so.